Should you be doing free shipping or not? What is the most money you've made in a month on Etsy? And when will our new software, etSEO, be available? In today's video, I'm going to cover all of these questions and way more. We haven't done a Q&A in quite a while, so I thought it'd be great to answer your burning Etsy questions. If you're new here, my name is Dylan Jarvis. I'm an Etsy seller of 8 years. I've made over $1 million on the platform. I also sell on Amazon and Shopify, and my entire background is corporate e-commerce. I worked for some big giants like Zappos and Zulily, and now I have a company of about 31 people, and we are helping Etsy sellers scale their businesses. Let's get into your questions. You've submitted these on Instagram, and I'm gonna go through one by one. You're new around here and new to Etsy, where to begin? I always recommend beginning with deciding who you're selling to. Stop focusing on the least saturated product you could get into. Instead, focus on who you want to sell to and who you want to rely on for your income. And then focus on items that have purpose and utility. My teen girls want to start a company. What product should they start with? This is interesting. So again, I would focus on starting with the customer, who they want to sell to, and then the product. Now, it kind of depends on where their interests lie, right? Because sometimes to keep teen girls engaged, they want to like the customer, relate to the customer, like the product. Also, are they really into graphic design, digital products? Are they always playing in Canva? If not, I might recommend starting with physical products because there's, I would say, a lot more to learn when it comes to physical products and maybe more ways to compete, especially when you're a teen. You want to get some quick wins. You want to see some results that'll keep you motivated to stay engaged. And then you can start learning Canva and design and adding in digital and print on demand. All right, is there a wait list for the etSEO software? Yes, there is. We are going to put it in the comments and the description, so you can check that out. If you have not heard, we are launching a software. It's called etSEO, and this tool is going to really optimize your listings for you. It's so simple. I cannot wait for you to see how it works because it takes less than 60 seconds per listing. And this is not only SEO. It's actually a lot more than just SEO, but we as a company, we are known for the results of our SEO strategies. We have thousands of testimonials that show in their stats what the results look like when they implement our SEO strategies. So that's why we have infused those strategies into this software, and it is going to save you so much time. So make sure you're on the list to get access. All right, is Q4 a good time to test out a variety of products and expand your product mix to see what works? Absolutely. Q4 is such an opportunity for you to be testing things on Etsy. And it's simply because the traffic that Etsy is paying to bring over during this time. I always say this is the best time. This will be the easiest time for you to get that quick customer feedback because of the influx of traffic. Now, if you want to sit out Q4 this year and wait till next year to take advantage of it, that's fine. But if it is Q4 and you are wanting to get ramped up, it is absolutely not too late. When will etSEO be available? It will be available within about 4 to 5 weeks of this filming. So I would say potentially by the time this video is released, it is available. If it's not yet out, get on the wait list because it'll be very soon. How to boost your sales on Etsy. Lots of love from India. Lots of love from San Diego. Make sure your listings are fully optimized, right? SEO included, and then drive external traffic. And that external traffic, there's so many ways you can do that. Social media is one of those, but that is going to be to give those listings a boost. So it's not just your SEO working for you. It's also you putting in some legwork and driving that external traffic on top of your SEO working for you. So that's one of the easiest ways to get a boost. And it's a way that not many of your competitors are doing. Okay, what gets a listing removed as opposed to having a listing that closes your store? So this would be highly dependent on the number of violations here. Let's say a listing is removed, deactivated by Etsy because you used the words Tiffany Blue, and Tiffany came after that listing because of their trademark around the word. So that first time, that listing just might get deactivated. If you continue to put up listings that get violations, it does get to a point where Etsy doesn't give you any more chances. I would say usually the first time it happens, sometimes the second time it happens, listings are just deactivated. But if it continues to happen over and over, and maybe you didn't see the violations or the emails, they ended up in your spam previously, so maybe you didn't even know, it could be a shop shutdown situation. Is it true that Etsy can ban your store if you are working overseas? No. We have Etsy sellers in our program who are digital nomads. They travel all over the world. Sometimes, every few weeks they're moving, and this is not not a situation where their shop is getting shut down. Now, they typically use a VPN just because they don't want to be logging into all these different public Wi-Fi situations just to protect everything, including Etsy. When testing a design, how many different products would you recommend trying to start? I really find people are focusing way too much of their time testing one design, many products, and they're forgetting to be testing many designs on a couple of products. If you have a new design, you don't have proof of concept. You don't know if it's a good design, if it's something that your customer would like. So no matter if you put that on a beach towel or a pillow, if it's a bad design that your customers don't like, it's not going to sell, no matter how many products you put it on. So early on, focus on testing multiple designs instead of one design on tons of products. When split testing a product listing, how many renditions of a thumbnail do you test? I would say what we're testing in our thumbnail images is different value propositions. And the value proposition is your combination of your listing photo and your price. So there's so many ways to increase the perceived value in your thumbnail. Some of this could be through the quantity of the items in the thumbnail, it could be through certain messaging. I would probably test, I would say at least 2 to 4 per product. If you get any more than that, it's probably not going to be enough of a difference, right? Testing like free shipping versus fast shipping. This is assuming that you have unique thumbnail images that are good. As many good thumbnail images between 2 to 4. If your store has a niche but are feeling inspired to design something unrelated, yes, this is exactly why we don't recommend picking a niche, because you will be boxed in. You will feel boxed in, and you will have the tendency to just stick within that niche, which severely limits the opportunities that you can take advantage of. So I would say pull yourself back from the niche situation and focus on what customers are coming to your shop. Let's say you have a dog themed shop. Is that the only thing your customers care about? Do they also have kids? Do they also have cats? Do they have horses? What else are they doing? Are they involved in sports? Is this a family who does RV trips? We want to think about what else that customer spends their time and money on, and pull yourself back from that, focus on the customer. And if you're in our program, fill out Module 2's worksheet in the workbook, and that will guide you with what else to add to your shop and transition you from a niche to a customer-based shop. And some people ask, well, is a customer a niche? No. It's not, because customers' preferences and the aesthetics that they like, that evolves. When you're focused on the customer, you're serving them for at least 4 to 7 years. That's how we drive up the LTV, the lifetime value of your customer. If you're focusing on a niche, that's not focused on LTV. That's focused on staying in a box. You can definitely make that transition, but use our worksheets in Module 2 to do so. Okay, free shipping or not? I recommend testing both for at least a period of 3 weeks. If you do not do a test, I would say you don't have enough data, because it's not a black and white answer. It depends on your price points. It depends on your customers. It also depends on who your audience is. So are you a European shop that sells mostly to the US? Are you a US shop that sells mostly to the US? 2 different shipping strategies for free shipping or not free shipping. Test both on the entire shop for at least a period of 3 weeks. And I say test the entire shop and not just split your listings in half, where half of your listings are free shipping and half they pay shipping, because your data is going to be much cleaner if you do everything for a 3-week period. What is your take on Etsy sellers with crappy listings, no SEO, 1 picture, and huge success? So 99% of the time, this means they are what I call cemented in search. And it's usually because of a revenue history behind that listing. Now, that revenue history could have been really built up in 2019, 2020. We don't know that. What I would say is they had a high velocity of sales. They have a strong revenue history behind that one listing shell. And that is usually why they're still cemented at the top of search, where it does take a lot to get that listing knocked down. It doesn't mean you can't knock them down. You absolutely can. You just have to really focus on the velocity of sales behind your listing and making sure that that is much higher than the velocity of sales behind their listing. What this doesn't mean is to go take their SEO, their descriptions, and their photo strategy that was good enough to get them sales way back when. But today, that's not going to work. So don't even try it. What is the most money you've made in a month on Etsy? So this is talking about profit. So over 40,000, and that is mostly because our margins are quite high. Okay, tips to transition from a corporate job to Etsy. So one of my biggest pieces of advice here is you don't want to put a ton of pressure on your Etsy shop where you cannot survive or pay your rent or pay your bills. Now, if your corporate job would ever allow you to go part-time, that is a great stepping stone. Otherwise, I recommend maintaining your corporate job, spending all your possible free time doing Etsy. Get your Etsy shop up to a consistent, 3 to 4 months of sales that are close to your corporate income, or the month-over-month increases are such where you will be exceeding your corporate income in the next, 4 to 6 months. And I would make sure you have, at least 6 months of savings saved up. Let's say you want to leave the corporate job, and because it's just not giving you the flexibility to put into your Etsy shop. So what I did when I was building my Etsy shop up until I was well over $10,000 a month, I was house sitting and dog walking. I would do that every single day for about 2 hours a day, and I was making thousands a month just doing that. So I was doing that through Rover, and then I had actually started my own business off of Rover called Community Canine Care, like dog walking, babysitting, cleaning houses, washing cars, that type of stuff. That's instant money, right? They're paying you right there. Etsy can take time to build up, right? Because you are pulling levers with the algorithm. Having that balance of something that's a little bit more of a long game, which is Etsy or e-commerce, with something where you can get money today to pay a bill tomorrow, that's always a good idea. So don't be afraid, if Etsy's not quite where you need it to be, you could still replace the difference between Etsy and your corporate job with putting in some hours locally on your own time. Don't be afraid to fill in that income with some jobs that you might feel like are below you or beneath you. It's really worth it. It will give you the flexibility you need to put more focus into Etsy. And let me say this, there is no reason in today's world that you cannot go out and make a few $100s in a weekend. You just have to be resourceful and have some work ethic. Do you need 100 listings to be successful on Etsy? Absolutely not. I have students who are making over $20,000 a month with less than 30 listings. It's quality over quantity. Right? How long does it take to see improvement in your shop? I always say when you make updates, give it at least 3 to 4 weeks. Etsy is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Sometimes now, like I had a student who updated her listings. She saw within a few hours of making the update that she got several sales and 3 add to carts. That is because when you do make an update to a listing, Etsy does give you a temporary boost, and they say this is as short as a few hours. Typically though, give it a few weeks. I always say, be patient. How did you find an employee to run your shop? And did you still make money when you did that? Facebook. I love hiring moms who are military spouses who can't really go get a corporate job. They need a job with flexibility and they value that. Facebook is a great place to find them, Facebook groups. And I have an amazing ad that I use to find every single employee. Now, this is specifically employees for the Etsy shop. Did I still make money? Absolutely, yes. Because when you're working on your business and your shop, you want to be making at least $100 an hour. That's the place you want to get your business to. You're not hiring someone when your shop is at the point where you're making $20 an hour. When you get to the point where you are maxed out and your hourly wage is about $20 an hour, then you're pulling the lever to increase prices and you're adding in products that give you a higher hourly wage. And then at that point, when you run out of time in your day, when you're at the, let's say $100 an hour, that's when you want to start hiring. And that's when you can afford to hire someone at $20 an hour. You can absolutely still make money if you hire someone at the right time. The key is not hiring someone too soon. Hopefully this was an interesting Q&A. I would love to do another Q&A at some point, but if you have any burning questions, just put them in the comments and we'd be happy to jump in. Make sure to subscribe if you like the video, if you want to see more of our corporate e-commerce principles applied to Etsy, and I will see you all in the next one.
I've gone from about $1,500 to $2,000 in revenue a month to currently, before the month's finished, $4,200 in revenue. I only joined multi-six-figure Etsy Blueprint about 4 weeks ago now.